You know, I have a way of forgetting forgetting some things. I don't remember a lot of detail around that. Fortunately, I have family and friends who remember enough to keep me informed about my life.
Well, in your talk, you did lead into the conversation your son had with you, and how that must have had some bearing on your decision to be accepting of his career choice.
It was very interesting when my son told me. I mean, he had already finished high school and he spent a couple of years in university, but he was there, but he wasn't there. And then he said to me, I want to be a professional bridge player. And I said, how are you going to earn a living as a professional bridge player? And he said, oh, and your parents were thrilled when you quit high school to become a folk singer. So he definitely had the final word on that. But I was nervous about it. I was for sure nervous about it. But it takes time, even though I had done that. You know, you worry about your own kids differently than you worry about yourself. And, you know, I wanted, the thing is that took me a while to realize, to really fully understand how important it is to pursue what gives you pleasure. I mean, I know that. The thing is, if you pursue your passion and you can't put bread on the table, you know, that's pretty tough too.
Yes.
Luckily for me, and luckily for Jeffrey, the passion has paid off. My husband once said to him, people ask me about you, Jeffrey, they say, can you make a living playing bridge? And Jeffrey said, you tell them I make a killing. So he makes a living, he does well, and he loves what he does. It's not without a price. I mean, he travels constantly, so it's, you know, he's not home a lot, but he does, he comes here to visit, and he comes for a stretch during the summer, and he comes for a stretch around Christmas time, and sometimes more than that, and I go there. So, you know, we spend time. We talk on the phone all the time.
Do you play bridge?
I don't play bridge.
So it must be even more challenging to get it.
Well, the thing is, I do get it. My husband played bridge, and I know sort of the basics of it. I just never have gotten drawn into it that much. But Jeffrey explains things to me. Like he can tell me about a game from 2 months ago and how the cards fell and how the bidding went and then how the cards fell from each person. I mean, he has that kind of brain. And what was right and what was wrong. He explains to me about the game, and I do get that. And also, I'm interested in not only the game, but the social dynamic, the business end of it and the social end of it, because my son gets hired. He gets hired by a sponsor. The sponsor plays as well, but the sponsor isn't as skilled as my son and the other people that are hired to be on a team. So I want to know how those relationships work. Can he tell the sponsor when the sponsor doesn't play very well? How do you handle that? And I think, you know, it's been great for my son. I think he's learned about human relations and how, you know, how to deal with stresses and when someone is unreceptive, how you deal with that. A lot of human relations skills that my son has developed while playing bridge.
And reading people.
And reading people, exactly. Learning about people and how to get the best out of them and how to have an interaction, all of those things.
Well, and he plays for a living, but that must be a very serious play.
Oh, it's a very serious play. It's a very serious environment. It's a very strict environment because people have cheated over the years, and they find ways to. They're always evolving so that they can prevent cheating. So, for example, they have barriers in some of the competitions, some of the events. They have barriers so that you can't see your partner and you don't talk. You have a card that indicates your bid, and it gets put underneath, and you're limited in time. So it's very interesting. It's really skill based, and you know it's a very interesting process. I've watched a little bit. It's not the kind I've even watched it on the computer. Jeffrey has a friend in town who used to call us all the time and say that the event is on, and you can go watch it, and this is the website, and in fact it's a friend of my son's, who the friend is also from Toronto, although he lives like my son in Las Vegas. this friend Fred developed the program that allows them to show what's going on, and it allows them to show the event that's happening, and so that people can watch it all over the world.
And of course, you also have the daughter, the lawyer.
I have my daughter, the lawyer, who she's a family lawyer. First of all, she lives very close to me, which is very important because she's the mother of my 2 grandsons, and so we do a lot of things together. And Randy she's a wonderful lawyer. She deals with divorce and those kinds of issues in great part, and she really helps people to get to not go to war if they can possibly avoid it. I mean, she really encourages people to try to find their way through the process. She's a very good mediator, and she's taken courses to support that behavior. But she has those instincts. It is in her nature, I think. So I think she's a very good lawyer. And we have worked together, she and I, on fundraising events. We're working on one now, and we've worked on, for Willow, we worked on one for many, many years. She was a co-chair for many years of Each of the Beat, which is a great fundraiser. And now she's helping with Scrabble with the Stars, which is for the benefit of PAL.
It's a performing arts lodge. Performing
Arts Lodges Toronto, which is a residence for people associated with the arts, a place where they can live with it. It's like community live. They have their own apartments, but there's such a community. They have so much in common, and they help each other, and it's a great place.
Now, I don't know was it instigated by Jack Duffy?
I'm not sure who was I'm not sure.
I recall he was quite instrumental at the beginning, though.
Yes, I don't remember. I know he was, and Roy Wordsworth as well, and perhaps Don Cullen. I have to find that out. That's an important little detail that I don't know.
And you go out and play Scrabble with them.
Well, they have this event called Scrabble with the Stars, which is a fundraiser, and people pay to play Scrabble. And they also get sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, which are, more revenue producing. And at each table of 4, there is one celebrity, and the other 3 are just people playing Scrabble who are there, having come through sponsorship or bought tickets or whatever. And so years ago, the woman who runs the committee, who is in her 80s and who does more work than the whole committee combined, she's quite remarkable. Anyway, she called and asked if Sharon Lois, she called me Annette because I knew her from my early folky days, and asked if Sharon Lois and Bram would come as celebrities, which we have done over the years and enjoyed. And a few years ago, I started to ask her, what do you charge for tickets, and what is the money for, and more detail about the event. And she said, well, why don't you come be on our committee? So I happened to be speaking to Lois the day of the first meeting, and I said, well, maybe you'd like to come too. So she came too, and subsequently Lois and I became part of the committee. And then this year, my daughter has joined the committee as well. So it's a great event. It's fun, and so I'm a quote celebrity at one of the tables, but I'm also on the committee, phoning people and asking them to make donations and sponsorships and all of that.
If someone wants to help out with that, how can they do that? Is there an online?
There is a fabulous Scrabble with the Stars website, www.scrabblewiththestars, actually, and it has some nice pictures, and it explains the event, and also one can learn about PAL and the residents and how that place works, which is quite fabulous. What we're trying to raise money for now, and it's just the beginning of it, is so that people who live at PAL, that people live in their own apartments, and sometimes as people get older and are less able to take care of themselves, it would be nice for them to continue to live there, because that's where they belong. But they need more supports available to them, and that's what we're trying to raise money for.